answer those at the very end. All right. Well, we'll get started then. So welcome to the Youth Leadership Lincoln informational session. This is a way to kind of learn more about what the program is before diving into, turning an application in, or maybe you are planning on turning an application in, but just want to know a little bit more about what the application process looks like, or the program process. All of those good things. So I'm so glad you're here, and welcome to Leadership Lincoln, and more specifically Youth Leadership Lincoln. And I'm going to just start with the general information about our organization, and then get to know you for me and for Laura and Brendan, and I'm sure they're going to love these slides that I created with their photos. But we're going to get started talking about the organization and some specifics about what YLL is and what the application process looks like, what the program year looks like. We'll cover tuition and scholarship information, and then we'll open it up for some questions. So usually in a non-COVID year, we would be meeting in a library or at your school, but of course, we've got some challenges there with the COVID. So hopefully we'll be doing a informational session in person next year, but we're meeting online, and that's okay. I think we're all pretty used to it. We're probably a little exhausted from it, but we're just doing the best we can. So this is kind of the agenda that we have tonight. So you'll get to meet the staff. You get to hear, what is Leadership Lincoln? What is Youth Leadership Lincoln? So a little more into that. Why does it matter that you participate in programs like these? We'll talk a little more about the specific information, application stuff, and then other community engagement things that we do at Leadership Lincoln. So this is a little bit about me, just to get to know you. I know, like, when you start a new program and you don't necessarily know the staff, that it can be a little nerve-wracking. I know as a teenager, and even as an adult, if you don't know ahead of time, it can be, I don't know, a little weird. So I'm Lily Shagru. I'm the program coordinator for Leadership Lincoln, and more specifically, I do the youth program. And I'm a lifelong Lincolnite. And attended McPhee, Sheridan, Irving, and Southeast High School. I also have a bachelor's in human relations from Doane University, and I have just a variety of experience with youth programming, from running summer camps to working for LPS, sports, early childhood, and theater. I really love our city. I think we're really unique. And I think Lincoln has a lot to offer and has a lot of room for growth as well. So personal goals as a YLL leader for students that are interested in applying. I just really like to work with all ages of kids and adults, really, to discover their own personal strengths and to help people feel empowered and open eyes to maybe opportunities that they hadn't thought of before. I like to challenge all people to act on, things that they care about, and things that they're passionate about. So a lot of those things can be getting involved in our community. And I really like to build relationships, and I like to build trust as well. So this is Laura Uradil. Laura, I will actually, if you want, you can introduce yourself. But these are some fun pictures I like of Laura, and she has been with the organization for a really long time. She has a wealth of knowledge about everything, organizationally, and about Lincoln. So Laura.
Yes, thank you, Lily. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. Always love when we get to spend some time with the youth cohort, because when I was a sophomore at Lincoln High, go Lynx, I was in the youth cohort. So I am an alum of the program, and now I get to work with Leadership Lincoln and be a part of it now. So I am the program director here at Leadership Lincoln. So that means I am Lily's backup at youth cohort seminars. So This just a couple photos of me at events and meetings and with our participants and things like that. So like Lily said, I've been with the Leadership Lincoln for a while. I started out in a office managerial role and then got involved with the programming and realized that I loved it. And learner is one of my Gallup strengths. And so being able to go to seminars every month sort of scratches my learner itch. So I'm always learning about leadership, about Lincoln, always connecting to new people. One of the best parts about working at Leadership Lincoln is all the amazing participants who come into our cohorts, both in the adult cohorts and the youth cohort. So always getting to meet new leaders and getting to see what people know about our community and what they want to see improved about our community. So it's fun to watch people get involved and get engaged. So glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. All right. This is our executive director, Brendan. I'm also kind of putting him on the spot, but he was he actually stepped into an interim role last year, right before COVID became an issue. So he came in at a really weird time. We appreciate his leadership, and he took on the role full time. He's also been on our board of directors and is also super passionate about all things Lincoln. And so Brendan, you want to introduce yourself? Do you like those pictures I
No, those are great. So I did not participate in Youth Leadership Lincoln. I was in Leadership Lincoln Fellows 19, which was 17 years ago in the year 2003. My daughter, who was born that year, right before I started Leadership Lincoln, went through YLL a couple of years ago, and she is just graduating from high school this year. My son has a couple more years to go until he is of Youth Leadership Lincoln age. But yeah, I've been involved with Leadership Lincoln for a long time, and a big believer in youth leadership. I've been a camp counselor and led expeditions, done outdoor leadership schools. I worked with the National Outdoor Leadership School for a number of years, and before coming back to Lincoln and kind of coming full circle to work with Leadership Lincoln last summer on a permanent basis. And just we have a great crew. I think the youth program's a lot of fun. You know, even if you're really engaged in Lincoln or your family's engaged, it really gives the students a chance to learn a lot more about themselves, about their community, and gain that confidence and experience that helps to serve them well into their junior and senior years and beyond. You know, I think of some of the ways that it was really transformational for the youth that I've seen in the program, as well as my daughter. And some of those are just the opportunities to meet some of the presenters who are leaders in our community, to sit down and have a conversation with your state senator, to sit down and have a conversation with the mayor in the mayor's office or the chief of police. And it is really an extraordinary opportunity for our youth, and it really helps them to have the confidence in themselves as they move forward in life, to be able to sit down and know that that there's a person behind the position, and that leadership really goes from the top down to the bottom, and everybody leads and everybody follows, and it doesn't have to be a mysterious process, but it's one that they can use with their creativity and compassion to raise themselves and others up.
Awesome. Thanks, Brendan. So the mission for Leadership Lincoln is to develop strong leaders for a stronger Lincoln. Like what is Leadership Lincoln? We're an organization that is striving to do these things. And Leadership Lincoln was founded actually before I was born by some community leaders that saw a need to start training and connecting the next generation of movers and shakers in Lincoln. The goal was to have well-trained, well-informed, and well-connected individuals leading our community to move Lincoln forward. We offer, as an organization, we offer 4, actually going on 5 cohorts now, that we're going to have a new cohort this year for alumni, but we have 3 other cohorts for adults, executives, fellows, and advocates. And then our 1 cohort for high school sophomores from the Lincoln and Lancaster County areas. So participants engage in leadership development along with interactive activities to learn about the community and where the challenges are and what makes it special. So we are celebrating our 36th year, which is very exciting. And we are estimating that we have 3,500 plus alumni that have graduated from our cohorts and are now serving Lincoln, which is pretty great. So Youth Leadership Lincoln, what is YLL? And you'll probably hear me refer to Youth Leadership Lincoln as YLL. That's kind of one of our names for the cohort, but it's the youth cohort is an interactive, hands-on, informative, I also think very inspiring way to learn more about Lincoln. So participants come from throughout Lancaster County. So not only do we have the Lincoln high schools, public and private, but we have surrounding areas as well. So we have students from Norris, from Raymond Central, from Waverly, and all Malcolm. I'm not even gonna, remember to get all of them, but all the surrounding areas as well. So we give them the opportunity to sit down in front of community leaders and engage them in dialogue and to learn learn more about specific areas of our communities, such as human services, sustainability efforts, government. When we talk about community visions for Lincoln, we look at, what the past looks like, where are we presently, and then what does future Lincoln look like? We dive into topics about diversity, inclusion, and equity, which are all, super important topics for leaders to understand and implement. And we really strive to bring all voices to the table. So I think one of the benefits of participating in the program is that you get to meet peers from other schools and other perspectives, walks of life, backgrounds, to gain a broader understanding of our community and to come together as a team to be civically engaged together. So these are the Youth Leadership Lincoln goals and outcomes. These actually don't just apply to Youth Leadership Lincoln. This is also for our adult cohorts as well. So when we're planning these program days, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a second, our curriculum committees really strive to make sure that we're meeting these outcomes for each program day. So developing relationships with community leaders. Are you talking with your the presenters that are coming to your program day and reaching out to them afterwards? Our growing knowledge of one's community is, gaining a deeper understanding of the ins and outs of Lincoln and how all those different systems work and work together. Developing leadership skills. So, using teamwork and group consensus and talking through issues that are hard to talk about. Practicing civic engagement. What are all the ways that you can be civically engaged? And we'll give you the opportunity to explore those things. So those are our goals and outcomes. Why does it matter to participate in something like YLL or Leadership Lincoln? Why does it matter to be civically engaged? Does it matter that you participate in your community? And I think something that high schoolers especially need to remember is that they have a voice and that they matter, and your opinion counts when we're all being reasonable. And if you want to get involved and you are interested in being civically engaged, then this is the right program for you. And civic engagement looks a lot different to everyone. There's a lot of different ways to be involved, and hopefully you'll gain a bigger understanding of those ways joining YLL. Maybe you haven't had a lot of opportunities or any opportunities to be a leader and you want to develop those skills. So this would be a great program to give it a shot. We take all ability levels for leadership. If you've done it before or have never done it, either way, it's all good. We would love to have you. So program specifics. This is, you know, the ins and outs details that if you're looking to apply, this is what you want to know. So the program is for high school sophomores. So if you are finishing up your 9th grade year, then this is the year to fill out an application. Time commitment. I'll go into this a little bit more, but these are the activities and things to expect throughout the year. So we do an overnight retreat, and that is in August, and that is a mandatory activity because it really sets the tone for the rest of the year. So that is in August. And we also do once a month all day seminars from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. during your school day. And we do have a great relationship with the schools, and the schools excuse this as an excused absence. So we contact them for you ahead of time at the beginning of the year, and they have all of the dates of the seminars, so you don't have to worry about calling attendance offices. Each seminar covers a different community topic, and we ask that you be at every seminar if you can. However, we do know things happen and we require 80% of programming. So I think that, I don't know what that is in grade terms anymore, but B maybe. So, you know, missing like 1.5 seminars is okay, but again, we also understand life happens, and as long as you communicate with us, it's all good. We also do state of the city. The state of the city is something we do with the mayor's office. She gives, or whoever is the mayor of that particular year, gives a state of the city address with Leadership Lincoln. And in the past, it's been a breakfast or a lunch. Last year, we had to have a virtual one, and that was fun. So we'll see what happens this year. Not really sure. It's usually in September. So the state of the city address. We also have unpacking, and unpacking is some extra opportunities to either debrief a subject, maybe dive into a topic that is in the news, exploring things that we didn't have time during the day. So we have 4 unpackings. These are held at night from 7 to 8:30. And we ask that attendance, you attend 2 out of the 4. So there's 4 opportunities throughout the year. Of course, you can attend all 4, but 2 out of the 4 is the minimum for us. The unpackings happen every other month, and we totally understand that you have a lot of things going on with school and that different activities happen on different nights. So those unpackings will be on different nights of the week. So hopefully it'll help everyone attend that 2 out of the 4 requirement. Just a little bit more on the opening retreat too. It's the start of the year in August. It's 2 days. It's like a half day on the first day, an overnight, and basically like a school day on the second day. And the goal of the retreat is just to really get to know one another and understand where all of your classmates are coming from, and explore leadership skills, do some personal development, some team building. So that is, oops, I gotta go back here. Whoop. That is a little more on the opening retreat. Graduation is at the end of the program year. The current class is going to be having their graduation here on April 22nd. So it's a way to kind of reflect on how the program year went and to celebrate finishing the program on a high note, I guess. So tuition and scholarships. So if you do plan on applying, the scholarship information is right there on the first page of the application. The tuition is $350, and that covers everything in the program year. It covers the retreat, all the program days, all of your food, all of that good stuff. And the scholarship information, you just have to make sure to fill out as you apply. Laura, do you want to hop in here a little more on scholarships?
Sure. I also would just want to say that it is absolutely free to submit an application. But if you are selected to be in the cohort, then at that point we will send you an invoice for the $350 tuition fee. But also and this is, I'm sort of speaking on behalf of Brendan here, but the Leadership Lincoln leadership and board of directors and alumni very intentionally do some fundraising and some support to make sure that we can fund a scholarship fund so that the tuition is not a barrier. Youth leadership comes in all forms, adult leadership comes in all forms, right? And we don't want that tuition to be a barrier for anyone. So please apply, and then if you are accepted into the cohort, then at that point we'll talk about scholarships.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. Just to briefly talk about COVID-19, we do follow what LPS is doing. We understand that people are also students from private schools and the surrounding schools too. So I don't want anyone to feel like they're being left out here, but it's just something that we do to kind of align with LPS on snow days. So if there's a snow day and they cancel, then we cancel. LPS, if they went fully remote on everyone, then we would go fully remote. We also have been following the Lancaster County COVID risk dial. So when the risk dial is in red, we go when we are in yellow, which we're in now, we're in person, which is great. But with COVID guidelines and directed health measures that we're following. So, you know, masks are required till further notice. We don't know when that's going to end. We have breaks for hand washing and hand sanitizers at all the tables, and trying to keep groups of kids in smaller group activities. Again, this year and half of last year, we did a combination of some days we were completely virtual, some days we were in person, but always with the combination or the offering, if you are not comfortable being in person, then we will give your program day virtually. So again, we don't know what that's going to look like by the time we get to the fall. So this is kind of just a heads up on what we've been doing this last year and a half. And we will probably, I don't know, we'll see what happens here in August. So application specifics. So the application is due Monday, May 3rd, and that those items need to make it to our office or be postmarked by that time by 5 p.m. that day. In the application, you have the application itself, and that includes if you want to request a scholarship. We also have 2 community references. So who would be a community reference? It could be a coach, it could be a theater instructor, speech and debate, it could be someone from your faith-based services, I don't know. It could be a lot of different people, ideally not a family member. So someone out in the community that knows you and can speak to your character. And then the school principal form is something that we ask to make sure that you are getting permission for from your principal or school to be able to miss those 1 day a month days for seminars, but also so your principal knows that you're applying, and that you are academically sound, and that if you miss a day of school once a month, that you're going to be okay, and you're not going to put yourself in a bad position. So that's that school principal form. And then the parent permission form, or parent/guardian permission form, that is for so your parents know what you're doing. So they know what the program requirements are, including like, you know, if you don't apply for a scholarship, so that they know all of the dates ahead of time. We give you those before the program starts so that you can get those on your calendar and have that time blocked off. But just so your parents know what you're doing. So that's the parent permission form. For the application itself, there is a online application that you can do online. And I will say, if you do the online one, you either want to have your community references, all your forms ready to go to upload, or if you upload, it's a blank document, right, Laura? If you're not ready to submit them online. Okay, so you can submit just blank documents on the online piece and then send those other references to us when those are done. There's also a paper application that you can download and print, or if you don't want to do the online application and don't have access to a printer, then please reach out to me, and I'm sure Laura can put my email in the chat, but you can reach out to me and request a paper application and I will send you one of those. The selection of the applicants is done by a committee of like community leaders and also past participants. We do that as a blind read, so they don't have any of your demographic information or school information. They are just looking at the answers to those application questions. So that's how that happens. And then you'll be notified. The applications close Monday, May 3rd, close to June. So if you ever want to reach out and say, hey, I just want to make sure that all of my application materials have been submitted and I'm good to go, please do that. Please feel free to do that. That is totally fine. So just to kind of wrap it up, I think I make sure I don't forget anything, but community engagement. So these are ways that you can also stay involved and engaged all the time with Leadership Lincoln. We have hot topics where we explore different topics and issues that are affecting Lincoln currently. So those are things that we do almost once a month, I'd say. This month, actually, we will be having a city council general election forum next Monday. I believe that's April 12th. Community Conversations was actually started at the beginning of the pandemic last year. It's Fridays at 12 p.m. and we talk to organizations, individuals, and businesses about how is it going? Is it going well? What are your successes? What are your challenges? And how can we keep supporting you? We also have a podcast that's on our website. You can find that on leadershiplincoln.org, and a lot of different community leaders interviewed on that podcast. It's a great listen. You will, if you participate in any of our Leadership Lincoln cohorts, you'll be given a login and password to our alumni database, and then you'll have access to find other leaders in Lincoln that are also alumni. And then you can follow us on social media. We have Facebook and Instagram are probably the most active of our social medias, so those are good ones to follow if you're into that. We also have Twitter and LinkedIn. So now I will ask Laura to stop our live feed. Thanks if you were watching on Facebook, and then we can get into some questions.